Hey, this is Ramon, Channels Alpha 4. I want to talk to you guys today. This is going to be this is going to be my topic video for the week. I realize my videos are late this week, but whatever. But I'm not really sure what I'm going to title it. This is going to be part of my Questions for series, that's definite. But this is not so much going to be questions as it is going to be a conversation. And I want to talk directly to the people who I have questions for. I actually made a video earlier to men's rights activists. The video didn't get a great response, to be honest. But I'm going to call this video kind of in general. This might not be the actual title of the video, but this is what's percolating in my mind. This is going to be questions for incels, MRAs, and MGTOW. Okay? Now, the second to last one, I have the most sympathy for. Men's rights activists, I don't have anything against at all, period. Like, I get where they're coming from. It's a shitty world, man. Like, I get it. But the back end of this title, and this might actually be the core title to the video, the one that I actually used for the label, is going to be, yes, the friend zone is real, but you're still an asshole, and she still doesn't owe you anything. And I think that's the title I'm going to go with, or something very similar. So I'm just going to jump right into it. But, okay. Let me lay down some basics here. I'm not the best looking guy in the world. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm not the richest guy in the world. There are times that I'm broke. I'm broke right now. I've been fat. I've been skinny. I've been muscular. I've been weak. I've been bullied. And I've been an asshole every now and then. I've been the mean person you're supposed to be scared of before. So when I say this, I'm not coming from just one angle. I've been around and I've had many different roles and played different personas in different people's lives. And even with that, even with the uppity nose and the pointy ear and the man boobs, even with all that, I've never gone more than a year without a girlfriend since I was 13. Since I was 13 years old, I've always had at least one girlfriend every year. Even when I tried celibacy, volunteer celibacy, for 2.5 years, in that time there was a specific woman in my life. So, but I have been friend zoned. It's happened to me. It's happened to me multiple times. So I know the friend zone's real. And I've gotten out of the friend zone. But let's get into it here, okay? So the first term I want to talk about is AWOLT. All women are like that. No, not all women are like that. Just like not all men are like that. Every person's an individual. Right now, a neighbor of mine's fence fell over. And it's 2 women. And they need me to come over and help fix the fence. On the other hand, a very good relationship that I miss from about 7 years ago was a woman who, if something like that happened, before I could even get on my feet, she would have had the fence up already, and she probably wouldn't even let me help her. Okay? So there are some women who by themselves can do everything that 2 or 3 guys can do, and there are some women who, even in a pair or in a group, don't have the inclination to do what some guys can do. Not every woman is the same. Just like not every man's a tough guy, not every man's a smart guy. Like everything's different, and everyone's an individual. Okay, let's talk about alphas. So when I was going to sign up for the military, yes, I was going to at one point, they give you this kind of precursor test. And in the precursor test, I got rated alpha. And for all I know, that's bullshit, and it's just a test they give to everyone. Everyone gets rated that so they can suck you to get into the military. Who knows? But I took it because I wanted to go military intelligence, okay? And I wore that alpha title like, oh, it was like amazing, right? And one of my relationships, actually one of my worst relationships, I actually got into because we were having a conversation about alphas. And the girl ended up being a horrible person. She treated her family horrible. She treated her sister horrible. But we were together for about 3 years. And in that relationship, it was all about dominance. Well, that's fine, but here's the thing. I love wolves. I'm learning to love coyotes, and I identify with the wolf and the fox and the coyote. I think those are cool, right? Always have. But at the end of the day, we're primates. We're not canines. And as long as we are not a wolf, as long as we're not, that anime where people are like, there's a group of people that descended from werewolves or something. As long as we're not that, I got news for you. There's no such thing as a real human alpha. There's people who are in charge, and then the people who are underneath, and it can change, and it can change like that. It can change just like that. Just like that, it can change. Revolutions happen all the time. The people on the bottom become the people on the top, and then the new people on the bottom hate the new people on the top. That's just how it goes, man. We're not a wolf pack. We're humans. Faux betas. Fake alphas. I don't know. I've been the leader of a group before. I've been the front guy. I've been the back guy. I've been the omega. I've been in every part of a pack, which again is not a good analogy for how human relations and social structure works, but I've been in every position. I've been the outcast. I've been the person who's weird and who dresses in all black and has weird hair and piercings. I've been that guy. And I've also been this guy. Okay? I've been both. And you know what? Neither one of them was that bad, and neither one of them was that great. You can be on both sides of that. It doesn't matter. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're the outcast, because as an outcast, the hottest girl in my neighborhood liked me. Okay? And as the guy with a lot of money, with a six-pack, nobody was interested in me. Right now I'm broke, and I got a pretty decent girlfriend. So whatever you guys are thinking about how the human structure works, the human hierarchy works, it's bullshit. It's not real. I get it. There's like social constructs, and you can take a sociology class and a psychology class. You can figure out all this stuff. The truth is, you like who you like. The social status has nothing to do with that. It's attraction, man. It's animalistic. It's the scent. It's the vibe. It's the mentality. All that other stuff, that's someone trying to get your money. No pickup artist is trying to help you. In fact, they're probably going to send you to jail if you follow what an asshole like that is telling you what to do. Let's move on. Okay, male alpha groups. Let's talk about that. Okay, so a group of alphas. In the wild, that's impossible. You can't have multiple alphas. Someone has to be in charge. The great thing about human society is that you can have multiple people with multiple strengths, and they can strengthen each other. I have a friend who every girl loves, okay? He's half Greek, half Japanese. Every single girl I've ever seen him talk to melts, okay? He's gotten more girls than I could probably ever hope to get, okay? But he's miserable because he doesn't want that. He wants a relationship, okay? When I was younger and I couldn't figure out how to talk to girls yet, I wanted a multitude of women. And I was messing up really good friendships that could have turned into relationships. See, the thing is that you can't just structure your life to get the girl, okay, or whatever it is you're trying to get. It's not how it works. And the quicker you find that out, the more that girl who you want to be interested in you might be interested in you. And if she's not interested in you, then she's just never gonna be. And you have to accept it and you have to move on. It's a tricky thing. I get it. Your ego's hurting. You're feeling bad. But I've been rejected by a girl 1 year. 3 years later, when we're in different positions in life. 4 years later, 5 years later, 10 years later, when we're in different positions. That same girl, now a woman, and I now a man, will be interested in me. And sometimes I'll be petty and I'll just reject her outright. Sometimes I'm already in a relationship, so I tell her I don't cheat, I'm monogamous. But either way, this person that once rejected me is now interested in me. and you grow as a human. And if you isolate yourself from other humans, you won't have that opportunity to grow. Let's see. The Anglosphere. Women only want certain kind of guys, blonde hair, blue eyes, tall. I'm 5'7". I'm 190 pounds. Okay? I ain't skinny. I definitely ain't tall. I definitely don't have blonde hair, and I definitely don't have blue eyes. And yeah, for a little while, when I was like 14, 15, 16, I was insecure about that. But then you get into enough relationships, you talk to enough people, and then you start seeing who people end up with. And so this ideal guy that they had in their head, that's not who this whoever ends up with. That ideal girl you had in your head when you were, a teenager or a young man in your early 20s, that's not the girl you end up with. Your taste change, your standards change. So the idea that, oh, the blonde hair, blue eyed, look, I remember one time I got invited up to Victoria, okay? And this girl, who always liked me, was telling her friends how great looking I was. Now, and she compared me to her brothers, and her brothers were these tall, handsome baseball players. One of them almost went pro. Or I think did go pro for a little bit. And here walks in this short, chubby Mexican. And the women were like, what are you talking about? How's that attractive? And yeah, it was humiliating. But you know what? It didn't matter. Because I knew that my standards and that my worth wasn't dependent on what they thought of me. In the same way, their worth and their standards are not dependent on what I think of them. Let's talk about bad boys. Alright, so back in the day, like when I was 12 and 13, I thought of myself as a bad boy. Got kicked out of school a few times, got into plenty of fights, drank plenty of alcohol when I was, skipping class, drank plenty of alcohol while I was in school. Being a bad boy wasn't fun. Didn't do anything for me. In fact, now that I'm older and I'm almost going to hit 40, it's done a lot of terrible things for me. I'm not where I could be had I buckled down and done some homework and stuck with the one girl that liked me. There's at least 3 women that I can think of, and they're women now. They weren't women then, they were girls, because I was a kid, who really liked me and who I really messed up pursuing, because I was interested in being the bad boy, and I wasn't getting any. There was no other girl or anything, but I wanted to be the bad boy. I wanted to be the Billy Idol, James Dean kind of guy. Part of me still wants to be that guy, but it didn't work out that way. And the quicker I understood that, the better my life got. And it took me way too long to figure out that that bad boy thing doesn't work and isn't fun. It's the wrong way to approach life, and it's definitely the wrong way to approach women. Fair piece of advice. Let's talk personal responsibility in the soul. Humans are not just animals. We are animals. We do have an animal nature, but that's not all that we are. We have reason. We do things no animal would do. So you can't apply the rules of the animal kingdom to human beings. We have our own social structure. And if you still want to, if you're like, well, that's a fallacy, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Try and apply the rules for meerkats to a wolf pack. Try and apply the rules to a wolf pack to a bat colony. Try and apply the rules from a bat colony to an ant colony. Different species have different rules and different societal functions. So even if you just go with the animal idea, it's not the same across the board. From ape to monkey to orangutan to whatever the next animal in the primate kingdom is. He says, looking like a monkey. Their rules and social structures are different from one another. So you can't look at the animal kingdom for a direct correlation to how to respond and react to fellow humans. And believe me, women are fellow humans. So, does that make me a Chad? No, not at all. There was a time in my life where I couldn't get laid to save my life. There was a time in my life I couldn't get a girlfriend to save my life. It sucked. It hurt. Went to bed crying. Yeah. But that pickup artist shit doesn't work, so don't try it. It makes you look like a creep. And in fact, the one guy I know who actually did do it made his girlfriend, who he got through that method, he made her life a living hell. And me and her are still friends. And this guy, yeah, I don't think so. I'm not a Chad. And not every girl's a Stacy. And not every girl who's a little frumpy is a Becky or whatever the crap. Look, I don't know these terms, so I might be using them wrong, but that's crap. When I was 16 or 17, there was this girl, and I'll say her name. Her name was Jessica. And a lot of guys liked her. I wasn't into her. But she had gotten pregnant, and me and her were talking. And the girl who was interested in me was friends with her, so she was like confiding in me. And she saw that I had a list of girls that I liked. Well, it wasn't just me. Like a few other guys had a list of girls that we all liked. And we rated the girls. And she scratched out all the ratings. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, we're friends. Like, why would you wanted to see what the ratings were. We're having this conversation about where the guys rank, and you want to see where the girls rank. Because, you know, you're about, in your mind, you're about to be off the market, and you wanted to see where you were at. You're not even on this list, you know what I mean? We're just having a friendly conversation, and she just destroyed the rankings. Now, my friends were all like, oh, you shouldn't have showed her, like, you know, like that was for us. The truth is, she was offended because we were being assholes. And when you're being assholes, girls don't want to date you. And obviously, some of the guys who were being assholes had girlfriends. And I know, some girls like assholes. It's true. Some girls do like assholes. Some guys like bitches. But you know what? Some girls like nice guys. Some girls like good guys. Some girls like bad boys. Not every girl likes the same thing. I like red wine and absinthe. Most people I know hate absinthe. Some people like white wine. Okay? It's not all the same thing. Not everybody has the same experiences, so not everybody has the same taste or the same standards. To put it another way, someone's Becky is someone else's Stacy. Someone's Omega is someone else's Chad. Okay. Creep shaming. No, I'm not going to say I've never been a creep. But don't be a creep. That's my advice on that. Don't creep. Don't do it. Don't do it. That's my advice. Grow up. Let's see. Hypergamy, or the idea of searching for the next greatest thing. I know a lot of girls that have dated losers. I know a lot of girls who have dated losers. I know a lot of guys who have dated loser girls. I know a lot of gay guys who have dated loser gay guys. Okay? I know a lot of beautiful, smart, sophisticated lesbians and bisexual women who have dated loser women, and those losers drag them down. The loser guy dragged down the incredibly talented girl. The loser girl dragged down the incredibly talented guy. It happens, okay? So people don't always just aim for one up. Sometimes people aim down. Sometimes people aim across. It's not as simple as that. Sometimes what you need from another person is not something that somebody on a higher social status is going to give you. Sometimes you need a little communique. Sometimes you need someone who has the intellectual prowess to turn you on intellectually. Maybe you need someone who's physical sexually. Okay? Maybe you need someone who is really into money because you're really into money. Like, there's just all these different categories of what interest human beings latch onto. Maybe it's a music thing. Maybe it's just a chance. You don't know. All right. Javier. No. uh, okay, so around here, it's all Hispanic. And around here, I'm nowhere near the best looking guy in the world. Like I said, I kind of look like a rat or a vampire, or a vampire and a rat made it together. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I look like. When I was a kid, my cousins used to call me an alien. So yeah, I mean, that happens. Look, I got the abs now, I got the muscles now. Yeah, it's pretty fucking awesome. But I'll be honest with you, when I had lost all the weight and I had just gone through a cancer scare and I had lost my job and I had kind of no standards, that's when I was having the most sex in my life. It lasted for about 6 months. I was about 25, 26. And that's when I was hooking up. Right now, I'm just with one person, and I happen to like the person that I'm with. She's actually very smart. And that's what I like. I like intelligent people with confidence. Confidence is a much bigger turn on than you can imagine, and it works both ways. And by the way, cockiness is not confidence. I've learned that the hard way, way too many times. In fact, me getting cocky is usually where things go bad, and I don't mean in relationships, I just mean in life. Anytime I get cocky, whether it's playing pool, whether it's weightlifting, I injure myself or something goes wrong and I lose the game. Being cocky is not the way to go. Okay, dark triad and nihilism. That's a no-go. Everybody I know who's gone down that kind of path, their life ended in hell. And they either ended up in jail, they ended up dead, they committed suicide, or they lost everybody they cared about. And when you see them a few years later, their life is a wreck and they're doing nothing but apologizing to everyone they screwed over. Don't go the route of nihilism. That way only leads to pain. And usually your own. Game and pickup artistry. Do I have some game? Yeah, I do. I do have some game, actually. It's developed over time. And I had to learn how to play the game. And by playing the game, I don't mean pick artist game. I mean as in I had to learn how to read another human being. I had to learn what the signs of someone is saying. And those signs change from culture to culture, from generation to generation. So when is the girl giving you subtle hints? And you got to learn what those subtle hints are. And you know what the best way to do that is? Ask. Believe me, they will tell you. Okay? If you don't know what a girl is trying to say to you, ask her. Don't assume anything. Never assume anything. Assuming leads to horrible consequences. Ask. Learn. Every girl will have different signs and different signals, and unless you're in a relationship, you won't know how to read her signs. Okay? Let's say you're dating someone who every time that right before her period she needs some Whataburger. Okay? She's got to have a triple with cheese and bacon. Okay? Even if she's a vegan or a vegetarian, she needs that, but she can't buy it on her own because that's against her principles. So what you got to do as a good boyfriend is notice when that period's coming, and that day go buy that burger and leave it in the thing. Say, oh, I bought myself too. And guess what? She loves you for it. Okay? Okay? Some girls, they're gonna want to touch your pinky. Okay? Yeah, a little pinky touchy. Okay? Sometimes they want to do this, or they want you to do that. Or some girls like to hold your arm. Okay? And they like to, well, I can't do it without looking like I'm showing off. But some girls like to grab you by the arm and not by the hand. Or some girls like the wrist. Every girl has a different signal. Every girl has a different thing that she enjoys. And you are a fool to assume that you know what it is before she tells you. So let her tell you. Ask, pay attention, watch, listen, be attentive, but have your own standards. And if she doesn't meet your standards, then reject her. Not as a game, not as playing around, but honestly say, look, you're not what I'm interested in, and I'm going to move on. That's what a man does. A man doesn't wait around for a girl who doesn't like him. A man moves on until he finds somebody who he likes, who also likes him. If she doesn't like you, you move on. Let's talk about negging. Doesn't work. Don't start insulting people. That's a stupid approach. I get it. You're at a bar, you want to talk to someone, no one's there to talk to. You know what you do? You invite your friends. You don't have any friends, you have the beer and you leave. You go there enough times, you'll start talking to the bartender, or maybe a pretty waitress, or maybe even just another guy who, like you, is not picking anyone up, and you guys can start playing pool together. You guys can start playing darts together. Okay? You do that enough times, maybe a girl's like, hey, can I join a game? Now you have yourself a little group. Maybe the girl's a lesbian. Okay. So now it's you, your new friend, and your new lesbian friend. And now all three of you are looking for women. But here's the thing. You now have a woman in your group. She can help you. And she'll tell you exactly what every lesbian friend has told me. Women are a mystery. I don't know shit. These are the women talking about the other women. Okay? It's a mystery for everyone. Not just for you. Everyone is their own universe. I know that sounds cliche and stupid, but it's true. Everyone's their own mystery. Now, lastly, I'd like to finish up with the whole nice guy trope. I've been the nice guy. And here's what I found in my life. This is what I say when someone calls me a nice guy now. I go, no, I'm not a nice guy, I'm a good guy. But I can be mean. And I say that not as an identifier or as a way to, like, you know, make myself sound better. No, it's because I know myself. And I know I'm not always nice. And if you start telling yourself you're the nice guy, you're lying to yourself too. Because the nice guy isn't doing what you're doing. Nice guy isn't thinking about that girl that way. Nice guy is okay with being just a friend. The nice guy is nice. The nice guy isn't plotting. If you're plotting or you're scheming, you're not being nice. No. You're not a nice guy. And the girls aren't after assholes, no matter what you think. Some girls like that. Most girls don't. Most women don't. And you got to understand that. And that's a very important distinction. And I've been kind of hinting at it. Women and girls. Look, when I was a teenager, when I was a boy, my standards were that of a boy's standards. When I was a teenager, my standards were that of a teenager standards. I wanted a pretty goth girl. You know, when I was a kid, I wanted a tomboy. When I was a teenager, I wanted a goth girl, man. Red hair, pink, piercings, tattoos. Now, as an adult, I want someone who has an interest in knowledge, someone who's smart, someone who's athletic, someone who likes to exercise, someone who has a hobby, someone who has passion in their life, someone who has something they're dedicated to. So that way I don't have to be the center of their world. And that way they don't have to be the center of my world. But we can bring our worlds together. That is what an adult relationship is. Where you guys make sacrifices for each other. She doesn't owe you anything. You don't owe her anything. 2 questions you got to ask. What have you done to be worthy of her? What has she done to be worthy of you? And if she's done nothing to be worthy of you, move on. Find someone else. And if you've done nothing to be worthy of her, then she's not going to like you. And what's her worthy is different than another girl's worthy. And if she doesn't like you, there's nothing you can do to make yourself worthy. There's nothing you can do, ever, to make someone like you. It's just the truth. No girl has to like you. No girl has to go out with you. There's nothing you can do to earn that. It's a grace. Either they like you or they don't. And if they like you, they're going to like you no matter all your flaws. And if they don't like you, they're not going to like you no matter how many good qualities you have. It doesn't matter. I have friends who are ugly and fat and they have beautiful girlfriends. And I have friends who are good looking and handsome and they have beautiful girlfriends. I also have friends who are good looking and wealthy and who are single and miserable. These are all just different aspects of life. If your personality is horrible, a pretty face isn't going to fix that. Yeah, pretty face makes things easier. A great body makes things easier. But it doesn't do the work for you. So, anyway, this was a discussion. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to make it part of my Questions For series, but this is not a Questions For. I just wanted to have a frank discussion because I made a video earlier talking to this crowd, to the incels and the MRAs and the POAs, pickup artists, POAs, and in that video I don't think I came across as sincere as I should have. So given what's going on in the current events, I thought I'd make a more sincere video and have a more open discussion with you. And I know you're saying to yourself, well, what are the questions? Every single one of those was an answer to your questions. And go ahead, talk back to me. Tell me where you think I'm wrong. But I'm telling you that if you want women to respect you, then you can't chase after them like you're some kind of puppy dog. You can't make them like you. You can't make anyone ever like you. Some people are going to hate you no matter what. So you need to get over it, and you need to realize that there's a life out there. Okay? I've dated more than a few strippers in my time. I have. Some guys, that's their dream. Other guys, they think that kind of girl is too low for them. So what? I've had girlfriends who are poets. I've had girlfriends. I have a girlfriend who has a PhD. I've dated women who have a kid. I've dated women who don't. I've dated many different types of women. And no one woman is like the other. Just like no man is like the other. Just like 2 or 3 of your friends, you're going to disagree with at least one of them. And if you don't have any friends and you're isolated, then that's a much bigger problem than you not being able to get a woman. So, I'm just letting you know. Having a woman doesn't fix your personality. And not having a woman doesn't mean that you have a bad personality or that you're bad looking. Because like I said, I know ugly guys that get beautiful women. I know ugly girls that get beautiful men. So it isn't as simple as that. Anyway, I'm rambling and I gotta fix this up. Please like and subscribe. Please comment down below. And stop treating women like prizes and stop treating them like meat. They're people. They're humans. Just like you. You want them to treat you with respect. You got to treat them with respect. And you got to understand that even if you do, they owe you nothing. Even if you're the greatest person in the world, they can still treat you like shit. That doesn't make them bad. That makes them human. Just like you.